If you're new to indie game development, there's a very good chance you're already doing at least one of the things I'm about to talk about. And I don't say that to be harsh, I say it because I did all of them. Some of them I didn't even realize I was doing until months had already gone by. So today I'm going through 5 mistakes that I see beginners make constantly, and more importantly, what to actually do instead. Welcome to my channel. I'm a game dev based in Sweden. I've been building games in Unity for a while now, and before that I spent a good chunk of time in Unreal Engine 5. I'm not here as someone who's shipped a massive title or made any serious money off a game. What I am is someone who has personally hit pretty much every wall a beginner can hit. Alright, so the first one, and honestly probably the most common trap I see, is going into your first game thinking it actually has to be good. And I mean that in the broadest sense. Because what happens is, a lot of beginners open Unity for the first time, and in their head they already have this massive open world RPG with a deep crafting system, custom shaders, multiplayer, a storyline, and then they spend 3 weeks just planning. Here's the reality. Your first game is not supposed to be good. It is supposed to be finished, because finishing something, even something janky, teaches you more than any amount of planning or theorizing ever will. You'll find out what you don't know the moment something breaks. And things will break a lot. The goal of a game, number one, is simple. A menu, some basic mechanics, a win condition, and an end screen. That's the entire target. Keep the scope small, enough that you can actually reach. Now, the second one is what people usually call tutorial hell. And I think it's actually sneakier than mistake number one, because it genuinely feels like progress. You're watching tutorials every single day, you're learning new things, you're taking notes. It feels productive. It looks productive. But at some point, you have to stop and ask yourself, when was the last time I actually built something on my own? Because watching someone else write code is not the same as being able to write it yourself. And I get why people stay in tutorial mode. It's safe, there's always a right answer right there on the screen. But the moment you close that tab and try to build something from memory, that's when the real learning actually happens. You'll break it, you won't know why, you'll spend an hour figuring it out, and then you'll actually know it. Not because someone showed you, but because you fixed it yourself. So the rule I'll suggest, for every tutorial you watch, build something with that you just learned. It can be one mechanic in an empty scene with a gray cube. Doesn't matter how small, just make yourself apply it without a tutorial. By the way, if this is useful so far, make sure to like and subscribe. It does help out a ton, trust me. Back to it. Mistake number 3, and this one I can speak to directly, is switching game engines constantly. Unity is too slow? Okay, let me try Godot. Actually, wait, Unreal Engine looks incredible. But Godot is open source and free, and apparently Game Maker is making a comeback. And nothing ever gets built, because every 3 weeks you're starting from scratch in a new tool. I did this. I spent a long time in Unreal Engine 5, got reasonably comfortable with it, and then I switched to Unity. And that transition cost me a significant amount of time. Now, there were reasons behind it, and no guarantees every decision I make is the right one. But if I had committed to one thing earlier, I would generally be further along than I am right now. Here's what I tell anyone starting out. The engine does not matter at your level. Unity, Godot, Unreal, they all run on the same core concepts. Physics, input systems, game loops, scene management. The fundamentals do transfer. What doesn't transfer is the time you lose relearning a new interface every month. Pick the engine that has the most accessible learning resources for the type of game engine you want to make, and stay there. Commit to it for at least 6 months before you even consider switching. Mistake number 4 is closely related to mistake number 1, but it hits differently. It's abandoning a project the moment it stops being exciting and jumping straight to a new idea. And this happens constantly. You get through the fun part, the prototyping, the early momentum, the initial feeling of, okay, this actually works. And then you hit the hard part, the tedious polish, the bugs you can't explain, the UI you actually have to sit down and design. And suddenly, out of nowhere, a completely new idea shows up in your head and it sounds amazing. So you start over, fresh project, then a new idea is fun for a while too, until it isn't. and the cycle just keeps going. The only way to actually break the cycle is to push through it. And I know that sounds blunt, but that is generally what it comes down to. Set a hard end date, scope it down if you have to, cut features, simplify division, do whatever it takes, but finish. The last one, mistake number 5, is spending 6 months building your game in total secrecy and then being surprised that nobody cares when you finally show. I get why people do this. Sharing early work is uncomfortable. You know it's unfinished, you know it's rough around the edges, and the last thing you want is someone pointing that out before you're ready. But here's the thing. The people willing to look at your work while it's still a mess are the most valuable resource you have as an indie developer. Their confusion tells you things your eyes simply cannot. Like, literally. You have been staring at your own game every day for months. You know where everything is, you know what every mechanic does, you know what every button is supposed to do. A fresh pair of eyes will walk straight into the wall that you forgot to render. And that feedback, uncomfortable as it is what saves you from shipping something that makes zero sense to anyone except yourself. Now, before you comment, no, I'm not saying post every half-finished prototype everywhere. Use your judgment, but share earlier than you feel comfortable. A Reddit post, a Discord server for indie devs, a friend who knows nothing about game development. Get some eyes on it. You don't have to be proud of it yet. The feedback is worth more than another 2 months of building alone. Anyway, 5 mistakes, all of which I've made personally at some point, so you'll just have to trust me on it. If any of these hit close to home, let me know in the comments which one you're dealing with right now. I'm genuinely curious. And if you found this useful, make sure to like and subscribe. It does help out a ton. Until next time, see ya.